Have you ever sat down at the dinner table and looked at a platter of warm fish, perhaps well grilled and seasoned with herbs and a little lemon, and thought, this has to be healthy, right? It's fish. Everyone claims that eating fish is healthy, and to be honest, that's true most of the time. Fish weighs little, it has a lot of protein. We've all heard about the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids for the heart and brain, particularly as we age. What if I told you, however, that some of the most well-known fish, the ones we frequently believe are keeping us healthy, may be doing more harm than good? What if I told you that some fish might be gradually deteriorating your body, subtly harming your heart, nervous system, memory, and even more, and you wouldn't even be aware of it until it was too late? The worst part is still to come. Most folks don't know. You see, as we age, our bodies just don't filter out toxins the way they used to. The immune system slows down a bit. Our organs put in a little more effort, particularly the kidneys and liver. That's normal, but it also means that older people are far more susceptible to contaminants like heavy metals, mercury, and chemical residues, many of which can be found in some fish species. Healthy-looking fish, excellent fish that are offered for sale. In the past, doctors would recommend fish without question. However, it is no longer the case. Additionally, it's possible that you don't consume these fish every day. Perhaps it's just once in a while at a church potluck, a family BBQ, or your weekly meal out. However, those small moments build up, particularly when your body is more perceptive to the stimuli it is consuming. This knowledge could potentially save your long-term health if you are over 60 or are caring for someone who is. I am not here to scare you, but I am here to warn you. I'm going to go over 6 different kinds of fish that older individuals should absolutely avoid eating in today's video. These are not conjectures. This is based on actual case studies, health research, and the things that dietitians are subtly advising senior citizens to stay away from. You most likely have a few of these in your refrigerator at the moment. On every menu from coast to coast, there are others. Of them, the 4th one is the one that may surprise you the most. You will understand exactly what to avoid and why by the end of this video. Most significantly, you'll have healthier, safer, and more intelligent options that you can still enjoy without compromising your taste or well-being. Let me ask you a quick question first, though, before we get started. If you're here because you care about your health or the health of someone you care about, please leave a brief comment below that reads, "I'm here." This lets me know that the proper individuals are seeing this message. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Wisdom. We provide life-changing insights every day that help older folks stay informed, feel stronger, and live longer. Okay, ready? Let's discuss the 6 fish you should be aware of. Let's start with one that is frequently commended for its taste yet is subtly harmful to aging bodies. Mackerel king. Now picture this, your grandfather. He has always been the family's grill maestro. On the terrace, he flips thick, juicy filets of king mackerel on the grill every Sunday. He vouches for it, claims that it is beneficial for both the brain and the heart. To be fair, when the correct kind of fish is available, it can be. But as time passes, you begin to see a change in him. He is more exhausted than normal. Simple things like names, appointments, and where he left the remote control are all things he forgets. When he lifts his coffee cup in the morning, his hands occasionally shake. You initially attribute it to aging. Isn't that a natural part of growing older? What if it isn't, though? What if the thing he believed to be keeping him well was actually doing more damage than he had ever realized? What you should know is as follows. When it comes to fish mercury levels, king mackerel is among the biggest offenders. Mercury is a heavy metal, and your body is more resilient while you're younger. However, we become less able to eliminate poisons like mercury as we get older. In other words, it gradually accumulates until it begins to influence your thoughts, feelings, and even bodily processes. Excessive mercury levels in elderly might cause more than simply forgetfulness. Severe cognitive decline, nerve damage, loss of coordination, and even cardiovascular stress can be brought on by it. This is where many people make a mistake, though. They mistake Atlantic mackerel for king mackerel. It sounds alike, doesn't it? However, they differ greatly. King mackerel is a health trap in disguise, and no one is really raising any red flags about it. In contrast, Atlantic mackerel is far safer, lower in mercury, higher in nutrients, and actually a wonderful choice for older individuals. Therefore, it could be time to switch things up if they're in your freezer or on your shopping list at the seafood counter. I'm not advocating that you completely give up fish, though. Absolutely not. Better options are available that are safe and tasty. Try wild-caught sardines or salmon instead of king mackerel. Both are very beneficial for heart and brain health, low in mercury, and high in omega-3 fatty acids. Not only are they safer, but they're also better options for long-term health. Additionally, keep in mind that food at this point in life is about more than just flavor. One meal at a time, it's about safeguarding your future. But there are other threats lurking in your seafood besides mercury. Certain fish provide a distinct hazard, one that targets your immune system and subtly erodes your defenses just when you need them most. Now let's discuss the second fish that senior citizens should definitely avoid. The second fish is a tilefish. This is where tilefish comes in. You may be eating it without even realizing it. It's cunning. Whitefish, or the catch of the day, is on the menu when you sit down at a fancy restaurant for a special night out, an anniversary, or a birthday. It seems harmless enough, doesn't it? Flaky, light, and possibly grilled with lemon butter sauce. You think, well, it's seafood, it must be good for me. But what they don't always tell you is that fish could very well be tilefish. And tilefish, that's one you need to watch out for, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain why. Tilefish, particularly the kind caught in the Gulf of Mexico, has some of the highest mercury levels of any fish out there. We're talking even higher than king mackerel. And for older adults, that's a serious concern because mercury isn't just something you hear about in scary documentaries. It's real. And when it builds up in your system, it starts to mess with your neurological health. That means your brain, your balance, your memory, even your mood. Over time, mercury toxicity can lead to numbness, confusion, memory loss, and for some people, even signs of dementia-like symptoms. And what makes this worse? Tilefish often shows up on menus as a premium option. It might come with a higher price tag, a fancier presentation, a name that sounds exotic, but expensive doesn't always mean healthy. And in this case, it's the exact opposite. So here's a simple rule for when you're dining out. Always ask what kind of white fish is being served. Don't be shy. You have every right to know what's going on your plate. If they say tilefish, politely pass. Ask if they have something safer like cod or haddock. Both are mild, easy on digestion, and much lower in mercury. And your body, especially your brain, will thank you for it. Because in your later years, it's not just about what fills you up, it's about what keeps you sharp, steady, and strong. Now, let's talk about a fish that sounds elegant, maybe even a little luxurious, but beneath that fancy name lies a web of hidden risks that older adults just shouldn't take. Fish number 3, swordfish. Now, this one carries a certain image with it, doesn't it? You don't usually see swordfish served at everyday meals. It shows up at elegant dinners, maybe on a cruise ship or during a family celebration at a fancy restaurant. And it's not uncommon to hear an older parent or grandparent say, "I'll treat myself this time. I'll have the swordfish." It sounds rich, flavorful, special, and in their mind, it might feel like a healthy indulgence. But here's the part most people don't know. That special treat could be quietly doing long-term damage to their health. Swordfish is one of the longest living and largest predatory fish in the ocean, and because of that, it spends years and years absorbing mercury and other toxins from the food chain. By the time it lands on your plate, that beautiful filth can be loaded with mercury. Now remember, mercury doesn't just float through your system and disappear, especially in older adults whose metabolism has slowed down. It stays in the body. And where does it go? To the kidneys, the nervous system, and the brain. That means an increased risk of nerve damage, memory issues, tremors, and cognitive decline. And if you or your loved one already has a history of kidney strain, high blood pressure, or neurological issues, swordfish could quietly push things in the wrong direction. Now, here's the dangerous assumption a lot of folks make. They think, well, if I grill it thoroughly, that should take care of anything harmful, right? Unfortunately, that's not how mercury works. You can't cook it out. You can't season it away. Mercury stays in the meat, whether it's raw, baked, or flame grilled. So what can you do instead? If you or someone you love enjoys a rich, hearty fish, there are safer alternatives that still bring flavor to the table. Try trout, especially rainbow trout or pollock. Both are mild, flaky, and easy to prepare. They're low in mercury, full of healthy fats, and much gentler on aging organs. It's all about making smart swaps, trading something risky for something nourishing. Because at this stage in life, food isn't just about enjoyment, it's about protection. And speaking of risks, what if I told you the next fish is one you've probably seen on every sushi menu, every seafood platter, every upscale buffet? It's sleek, popular, a favorite among seafood lovers, but for older adults, it might be just as dangerous as the last three, if not more. Fish number 4, AI tuna, also known as big eye tuna. Now, this one might surprise you because these days, sushi nights aren't just for the younger crowd anymore. You've probably seen it, maybe even experienced it yourself. Your older friends, your parents, or even you going out for a fresh sushi platter. It's a social experience. It feels fresh, modern, even light and healthy. And right there on the plate, front and center, is that beautiful slice of deep red AI tuna. But here's the truth. Most people don't hear that AI tuna might not be doing your body any favors. In fact, for older adults, it can pose a serious health risk. Let's break it down. Big eye tuna lives long and swims deep. Just like swordfish, it sits high up in the food chain, which means it accumulates mercury at much higher levels than many other fish. But unlike swordfish, AI tuna is often eaten raw, which brings a whole other issue into the picture. Bacteria. When you're young and your immune system is strong, your body might handle the occasional exposure to bacteria in raw fish. But as we age, our immune systems naturally weaken. Even something as simple as a low-grade bacterial infection from raw tuna can hit harder, last longer, and be much more dangerous. We're talking about things like salmonella, listeria, and even parasites that the body just can't fight off the way it used to. And when you combine mercury exposure with bacterial risk, that's a double strike to an aging body. And here's where the confusion comes in. Most people think all tuna is the same. You see tuna on a label and think it's a safe go-to, but there's a huge difference between the types. Big eye and albiore tuna, they're on the high mercury list. Those are the ones you'll find in fancy sushi rolls or high-end seared tuna steaks. They may taste rich, but the risk is real. On the other hand, skipjack tuna, often labeled as light tuna in cans, is much safer. It's lower in mercury, more affordable, and easier to portion. So here's what I recommend. If you love tuna, or you're caring for someone who does, choose canned light tuna instead. Stick to no more than 2 servings per week for seniors, and always opt for cooked over raw when possible. It's a simple change, but it could make a big difference in staying clear of hidden health threats. Now, let's shift gears a bit because the next fish we're about to talk about, it's not just a grocery store regular. It's incredibly popular around the world. But what most people don't realize is that it's often farmed in highly questionable, even toxic conditions. And for seniors, that's a red flag we can't afford to ignore. Fish number 5. Farmed salmon. You've seen it before. You walk into your local grocery store. A neatly wrapped fillet of salmon sits there on display. The colors are vibrant pink. The price is marked down, and you think this is a steal. Salmon's healthy, right? But here's the part that's rarely mentioned on the label. Not all salmon is created equal. And if that salmon is farmed, especially from countries with loose regulations like Chile or parts of Southeast Asia, it could be carrying more than just protein and omega-3s. Let me explain. Farmed salmon are raised in crowded underwater pens. Pens where thousands of fish swim in tight spaces, eating pellets made from low-grade ingredients. These conditions create the perfect breeding ground for disease and parasites. To prevent outbreaks, these fish are often fed antibiotics, and in some cases, they're even given chemical colorants to make the flesh look pink because without it, the meat would be gray. But it gets worse. That same feed they're given, it's often contaminated with PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. These are toxic industrial chemicals that have been linked to cancer, hormone disruption, and immune system damage. Now, imagine what that does to an elderly body. Already more sensitive, already more vulnerable, these chemicals can trigger inflammation, worsen arthritis, and put additional strain on the heart. And yet, many people still believe salmon is salmon. They hear omega-3s and assume they're doing the right thing. But here's the truth. Farm-raised salmon can do more harm than good, especially when eaten regularly. So what's the solution? Look for wild-caught Alaskan salmon. It's cleaner, leaner, and higher in naturally occurring omega-3 fatty acids. It comes from pristine waters, and it's caught in a way that avoids many of the chemicals and risks tied to farming. It's a little more expensive, yes, but when it comes to your health or your loved ones, it's an investment worth making. And that brings us to the final fish on our list, one that may stir up some emotions. Because for many seniors, this next fish isn't just food. It's comfort, a taste of the past, a reminder of home. But in today's world, even comfort food comes with warnings. Fish number 6, imported catfish. Now picture this. Your grandfather is in the kitchen frying up a batch of crispy catfish just the way he used to. It's a weekend tradition, a family favorite. That smell alone brings back memories of childhood, laughter, and togetherness. But what if I told you that same catfish, if it's imported, could be putting him at serious risk? Here's the problem. Imported catfish, especially those coming from parts of Asia, are often raised in unregulated fish farms with poor sanitation and questionable practices. These farms use antibiotics and chemicals to keep diseases at bay. But many of those antibiotics are banned here in the US because they've been linked to antibiotic resistance and even long-term health issues. So when a senior eats catfish from one of these sources, they may be exposing themselves to drug-resistant bacteria their immune system isn't prepared to handle. And remember, older adults already have a weakened immune response. Something that might only cause mild stomach upset in a younger person could lead to serious illness, hospitalization, or worse, in someone over 65. Still, people choose it because it's cheaper, more accessible, and easy to find in bulk. But that low price, it comes at a hidden cost. So what's the safer route? If you or your loved ones enjoy catfish, stick to US farmed varieties. American standards for fish farming are much stricter with better water quality, regulated feed, and limited use of antibiotics. And no matter where it's from, make sure it's fully cooked. Well-done catfish can reduce bacteria risk, especially for those with slower digestion or chronic illnesses. Comfort food should bring comfort, not danger. Now that we've gone through these 6 fish older adults should avoid, it's time to pause and reflect on what this really means for your well-being or for the well-being of someone you care about. Because behind every item on this list isn't just science. It's about protection. It's about preserving quality of life, one meal at a time. Let's take a breath here. We've talked about mercury, toxins, and hidden dangers in common fish. But at the heart of it all, this is about something much deeper. Seeing a loved one make choices that slowly harm their health without even realizing it is painful. Maybe it's your mother who thinks she's eating healthy because she picks salmon. Maybe it's your grandfather who still enjoys his favorite fried fish from the diner every Friday. They're trying to do what's right. They're doing what they've always done. And yet these small, everyday choices could be nudging their health in the wrong direction, little by little. And you see it happening. You see them getting more tired, forgetting things more often, getting sick more frequently. You wonder if it's just age, but sometimes it's also what's on their plate. And that's hard because these are the people who raised us, who gave us everything. And now, in these later years, they're the ones who need us most. But here's the thing, this moment right now is where the shift happens. This isn't about fear, this isn't about guilt, this is about power, your power. Because now you know what to look for. You know which choices carry risk and which ones bring relief. And that knowledge, that's everything. It means you can gently guide your parents to better options without scaring them. You can help your spouse make a wiser choice at the grocery store. You can check a menu before you order, not out of fear, but out of love. Because love, especially in our later years, looks like this. It looks like checking a label. It looks like asking, "Where's this fish from?" It looks like saying, "Let's try something new this week." And that's why I'm telling you now, you don't have to give up fish. You don't have to give up your favorites. You just have to be a little more intentional. Choose wild caught. Choose low mercury. Choose what supports your body, not what breaks it down. Even small changes can bring years of clearer thinking, stronger bones, healthier hearts, and better sleep. Isn't that what we all want for our later years? Isn't that what we want for the people we love? Let today be the start. Tonight, check your fridge. See what's in there. Read the labels. Think about what you've learned today and take one small step, just one. Maybe it's replacing that big eye tuna with canned light. Maybe it's swapping out that sale bin farmed salmon for a cleaner, wild-caught piece. Maybe it's just having a conversation at the dinner table about making smarter choices together. That's how change begins. Not with big dramatic moves, but with careful, loving steps in the right direction. And please hear this. No matter your age, no matter your health history, you still have control. Your health is not behind you. It's still within your reach. Better choices, better days, they're possible starting right now. Because caring for yourself or someone you love isn't just about medicine and appointments. It's about what you do every day, what you eat, what you know, and how you act on it. And I promise you, these little things, they make the biggest difference. Let's take a moment to bring it all together. To quickly recap, there are 6 fish older adults should really think twice about before putting on their plate. King mackerel sounds healthy but packed with mercury. Tilefish, often hidden in restaurant meals, quietly harming the brain. Swordfish, elegant on the outside, dangerous on the inside. AI tuna, big eye tuna, a sushi favorite but risky, especially for older immune systems. Farm salmon. It's not the salmon itself, but the way it's raised, that's the issue. Imported catfish. Cheap and easy to find, but often comes with hidden, harmful baggage. Each one might seem innocent, even healthy at first glance. But as we've learned today, they each come with a unique risk to aging bodies. From mercury buildup to inflammation to dangerous bacteria. And when you are older, when your immune system is slower and your organs are more sensitive, those risks matter. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you or a loved one regularly eaten any of these fish without knowing the risks? Was one of them a weekly staple in your home like it was in mine for years? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one and I truly want to hear your stories, your questions, or even your favorite safer alternatives. Let's learn from each other. Let's grow together. Because this isn't just a video, it's a community. And if this helped you even just a little, please give it a thumbs up so it reaches someone else who needs this information too. And subscribe to Golden Wisdom if you haven't already. This channel is your daily home for real practical advice on aging well, staying informed, and caring for yourself and your loved ones with intention and wisdom. From nutrition to mental health to small lifestyle choices that make a big difference, we cover it all every day. So whether you're here for yourself or for someone you love deeply, you're in the right place. And before we wrap up, let me just say, thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being curious. Thank you for choosing knowledge and action over fear and confusion. You are the reason this message matters, because every informed choice you make today leads to a better tomorrow for you and for those you love. So stay wise, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. From all of us here, ATV Golden Wisdom, take care and be well.